Welcome to Wine and Cheese Night with Logan. I'm your host, Logan, and today I'm going to be eating cheese, I'm going to be drinking wine, and I'm going to be telling you all the secrets behind how I make these songs. And so today I got this triple cream blue cheese from Trader Joe's, and while I was at Trader Joe's, there's a really nice lady who recommended me this wine, and it's called Rare Earth. And so I bought it. I want to show you guys one more thing. My friend Caroline got me this cutting board for my birthday, and how sick is that? It's like shaped like a Stratocaster. Like this guy. I heard this wine pairs really nicely with Reruns by Caroline Carter.
But I get it when you said it didn't feel so.
So when we first were starting to make this song, Caroline brought it to me as just a voice memo, and it was this like acoustic, slow, kind of sadder song. And so trying to stay true to that form, we started by trying to record acoustic guitars. I had my Neumann microphone on her guitar, and she was playing very softly. That wasn't really working. There was too much noise in the recording, so I ended up going and buying a SM57, which I needed to buy anyway, and putting that on her guitar. Also didn't work, and I was struggling with this song for so long. This is what we had at first. So we sat and we struggled with that for a while, and one night it got really late, and I just laid down some like MIDI drums that sounded like butt, and then started playing bass over top of it. And that's where things started to shift. This is what we had. So we had that, we had this like kind of working demo where we had acoustic guitars and I added the bass to it and the MIDI drums. It was kind of weird, and then Caroline did a scratch vocal over top of it. And at that point, we left for winter break. I went back home to Kentucky, I think Caroline went back home to Texas, and we kind of went our separate ways. I just couldn't stop thinking about this and trying to figure out how it could work, and so I decided to kind of go like guerrilla, go like off on my own, and just like, I paid Wyatt to go record the drums for this from like remotely. So he was recording drums in his garage in Nashville. I was in Kentucky laying down bass and electric guitars. I was like, I had a hunch that I wanted this song to rock. And it was such the departure from Kissing Your Friends
Hold me like
and everything that Caroline and I have made up to this point that I was pretty much 99% certain that she was going to shoot it down. Like, she wouldn't want to go this direction. But I was wrong, and thank God for that. So as I was saying, Wyatt sent me these drums. And they sound awesome. And as you can see, I chopped them up quite a bit, kind of really put them in the pocket, and I did a lot of compression. I think the snare mic was compressed like twice, and then they ran through 2 different parallel compressors. These things were squashed to shambles. And honestly, I don't think I've gotten a drum sound that I'm more happy with to this point. So I'm really happy with the work that we put in to really shine these drums up and make them fit with the song. So like I said, I was working on guitars and bass in Kentucky. When Wyatt sent me those drums back to the scratch that I sent him, I went back and I redid all of the guitars and everything, and this is what those sound like. It's just like this wall of sound. We got guitars panned hard left and hard right, and then some like panned this way. All their unique performances. I also added this like super saw that I was talking about in the Good Friend video. Told you I do this a lot. It's just like triplets of the chords, one boo-doo-doo, 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 and a super saw that I made in Serum. And it's the Blink 182 kind of sound, and it rocks. My 2000s kid is really showing right now. Another thing I do in a lot of the songs that I produce is I make this what I call a reversey guitar. Super scientific name. And basically what you do is you just strum out a chord, each of the chords of the song. You chop them up, you put them where they are in the song. So it's just like every time a new chord, say it's a D chord, you play a D, D, just let it ring out. But that's not it. You then chop that, reverse it, put a chorus. I like Soundtoys Microshift, and then put a bunch of reverb on it, and each chord kind of just into the next chord, and yeah. One of the things I'm most proud of in this song is the second verse, and more specifically the bass tone therein. This is where I came up with the idea for the crossover bass sound, where you play the bass one time, you duplicate the track. The first track, you take all of the high end out and you process it as only the sub frequencies. Throw a compressor on there, you're set. Second one, the duplicated signal, you take all of the sub frequencies out and you just affect the high end. And in the high end, you put some chorus, you put some distortion, you mess it up and you make it sound super wide and fun. And that's how I got the sound for this part.
I'll still wait up for a phone call like I always do. Forget my self-respect, so
Isn't that awesome? While we're talking about bass, for the pre-choruses I used a respace, which I just got a preset from Splice, and I put it into Serum, which rocks, and this is what it sounds like. So that's kind of like a similar sound, but in a synth kind of setting. And so that's why I think it works so well. This video is very disorganized because I did not finish talking about the guitars yet. So let's go back to the intro and talk about the guitars in the intro. We have this kind of thing going on. At the time, I was listening to a lot of Mellophobia by Cage the Elephant, and this little bop 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 chop that I did felt very Cage the Elephant, and I love it. Here's what they sound like soloed. Oh yeah, and I also reversed the guitar into the ba ba ba. So, ba 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 ba. When I'm recording guitars, a lot of times I use this pedal, the Strymon Iridium. This thing rocks, dude. I'm not sponsored by Strymon. Strymon, if you see this, you should sponsor me. But it's a amp and IR cab, which basically means you plug your guitar into this and this into your interface, and it sounds like your guitar is going through an amp. And you get to pick which amp you want to use. And what's awesome about that is I can use multiple amps when I don't have to own multiple amps. So for this song, I'm using like a Fender kind of sounding amp with whatever cab C is on the pedal. And then I'm using a Marshall kind of amp with whatever cab A is on the pedal. And I just set it to where I felt like it sounded good and layered each of those a couple times, and that's how I got the guitar sounds for this song. Except there are a couple guitar sounds in the song where I just plug my guitar straight DI into my interface, and that also added another layer of a different tone to work with. Most notably in the outro. This is what it sounds like on its own. Kind of nasty, but kind of awesome. At some point I went back and I was like, you know, some of those MIDI drums are kind of cool. And so I kept the like hi-hat sticky thing that I made on a whim, and this is what it sounds like. In context.
did I wake up in a cold sweat 'cause you're next to me? Our eyes are glued to reruns on TV. I'd like to change.
I remember going to the studio where I work. I work at like some of the campus studios at Belmont, and my buddy was like, "Hey, feels like you're missing some of that like lower mid-range. Why don't you try adding like a Moog or something to like fill that out?" So I did, and it worked. Check this out. Just kind of helps fill it out a little bit. So that's the guitar, the bass, and the drums, and like some of the synths and stuff. Now let's talk about the vocals. First of all, it really helps that Caroline is a very talented vocalist, and there's not a whole lot I have to do to fix her stuff. We did run through a little bit of Melodyne, and then what I do every single time, excuse me, is I go through and I take each of the S's, I cut them, and I turn the gain down so that they're less harsh. Her vocal chain is super simple. It's an EQ taking out some of the low end, and a compressor. It's an LA2A from U80. and I'm just slamming that thing. It's like 10 dB of compression. And it sounds good. I'm also sending her vocal to 2 parallel kind of buses where she's getting reverb, like a room reverb and a bigger reverb. So there's that too. More recently, I've been using a multiband compressor as a de-esser, but I was not doing that at the point when we were making reruns, so it's not in this project. The next thing you'll notice about Caroline's vocals is there's a lot of stacks. And so we have the main vocal, we got 4 doubles in the chorus, we got 2 harmonies going, and then 6 BGVs. And then Grace Gardner, love you Grace, she sent us a bunch of background vocals and harmonies too. So there's a lot of vocals going on in the song. And later in the song, we add even more where we're yelling. Yeah. So I'll show you guys like the last chorus so you can hear what all the stacks sound like.
But I get it when you said it didn't feel so bad, 'cause it didn't at the time. This isn't your fault, but it's not mine. It might be your fault, 'cause it was never mine. Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're rocking with vocals. The last thing I kind of want to show you is the TV noises and textures that we added to like the intro and the interlude between the first chorus and the second verse, where basically we're trying to emulate reruns sonically. So I got a bunch of clips from YouTube and stuff of like just random little sound noises, and they're also fun. There's like little things in here like peanuts, come get your peanuts, and like stuff like that.
Peanuts, get your peanuts here.
I think this one's Caroline's favorite.
Great job.
Got like,
All doctors to the ER.
I don't know, just a whole bunch of stuff. And then we put them all together and it sounds like this. And before I forget, there's also a little video in the outro from when Caroline and I made Kissing Your Friends. And if you're wondering what that sounds like and what's going on there, this is what it is.
And this song is gonna be stuck in my head for
Yeah.
the rest of this month. Because we've listened to it over and over and over and over, and I've sang it over and over and over, so.
Yeah.
And we're not done.
Not even close.
We're not even close.
So yeah, that's how I made reruns. I hope you enjoyed the song, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If there's anything I can do to improve upon this video content stuff to like show you guys what we're doing here, please let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, it would mean the world to me if you liked the video and subscribed and did all the yada yada yada. But anyway, cheers.